Hey, Makaye.
Hi, Sachin. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm happy. I'm excited. The 2022 is an year of excitement. Is an year of joy. Is also an year of little bit stress, little bit what busyness. So busyness, yeah. I think I
Exactly.
pronounced it correctly. Yeah, busyness, a lot of stuff. So yeah, I'm doing really well. Thank you for asking that. And how about you?
Well, I'm also doing well. Just going through what you call existential challenges. I would say, whereby as a person, you have the strong will of wanting to do things, but you have this strong pull back, of having to doubt yourself. Having not to believe in yourself fully, having to realize that you can actually accomplish more as a human being. So now, one thing that I want us to really discuss is how then do we as humans start to really actually believing in ourselves and acting in alignment with our beliefs that we can actually be greater than what we are or what we believe uh, we can't or something.
Yeah, so I think belief comes from an understanding that's based on an experience that something is possible. You
Mhm.
know, when you do something and you keep doing it, and then you accomplish it. Once you accomplish it, you now know, okay, if I try this several times, maybe 100 times, if I try this several times, I can learn to be good at it, and then I think I can win it, I can accomplish it. So
Yeah.
positive belief of achieving certain things, accomplishing certain things, actually comes from our experiences, and this is one of the reasons why many people do not believe in themselves, because
Mm.
uh, because if you do something and you fail at accomplishing it, and you refuse to try it again, what you say to yourself, what that experience is to you, is that you cannot achieve it. So as long as you do not have that experience, as long as you try and accomplish that, and have that experience of winning that thing, I think that it's difficult to form a belief, because you cannot simply have a belief out of blue. You cannot simply believe in something that is not possible, right? So I think everything is possible, but our belief becomes stronger when you prove yourself that you can achieve it. But doing it, by repeatedly doing it and trying it and learning from it, I think we can now change that experience into something that helps us to have a strong confidence, a strong belief in ourselves.
Exactly. In this, I'm also looking at how then, because I see traits of habits that have to be developed in a specific way within each and everyone's unique personality trait or character. How does then one develop what you call winning habits out of circumstances of failure?
Yeah.
How can you go about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. Almost all my life, I believed in a lie that I believed that I wasn't worth enough, I wasn't good enough, I wasn't capable of achieving or doing anything. This was the lie that I was conditioned to believe. This was the lie that I lived for more than 20 years. I lived that lie in my personal life. And that actually came from my own background, how I grew up, how the kind of experience that I had when I was growing up. So it all come from there. What happened was I wasn't a very good student. I was a normal student, and I almost like everyone. I was I tried almost everything, but nothing worked out really well. Besides, I was also very introvert, extreme introvert, you could say that, because I love privacy a lot. So I was very introvert. That actually prevented me from having this social relationship with the people, because most of the times I would spend time on myself. And as I had to grow up in such a situation, what happened was I tried something, but what I received from the crowd, from the people, from my surrounding was something negative. For example, one of the experience that I still remember is that when I was studying in third standard, I enrolled myself for a song competition. So it's not exactly a competition, but it was a festival in our school, and when my name called, I went there and I stood in front of an audience and I began to sing. I finished the first line and I stopped. Then I heard a shout from the crowd, from the students, and I stopped that singing. I stopped the singing and I hesitated for a moment. I breathed heavily. I looked everywhere. I didn't know what was happening. My chest began to beat faster, and I began to sweat from there. And I slowly left the place and never returned to that place for the next 12 years. Never returned to that place next 12 years. That negative experience actually told my brain that I wasn't a good singer, that I cannot do it. And for me, it was very difficult to sing in front of public. Very difficult. The reason that actually came from that experience. So when we go through specific experiences, like maybe it's negative experiences or positive experiences, when we go through the experiences, that experience gives us a lesson, and that lesson becomes a belief. Like for example, in my case, I wasn't a good singer. I wasn't good enough to stand in front of public and present myself to them. I wasn't good enough, and this experience gave me this lesson, and that is wired in my brain, which then becomes my belief. And then wherever I go, I walk with this belief that I wasn't a good singer. And when I walk with this belief, the problem is, if I don't believe in myself, then who else believe in yourself? Believe. That's what happened. Nobody believed in me because I couldn't believe in myself. This was what happened. So what I did was, I had to rewrite every program. I had to every night, every morning when I woke up, instead of saying to myself, repeating to myself that, I wasn't good enough, I began to simply phrase that sentence like, I am good enough, I am possible, it's possible. So it started with this acknowledgement. It started with this understanding that I am something. I deserve to be, or to be where I want to be. I deserve the things that I want to have in my life. So it's that acknowledgement I too deserve. It's that acknowledgement I too can. It's that acknowledgement that it is possible for me that actually pushed me to walk beyond those barriers and question every belief that I have had in my life. So I began to question. And then what I would do is, instead of repeating that all the same pattern, I would repeatedly tell myself, that's not me. You are worthy of being loved. You are worthy of being recognized, being noticed. So I repeatedly told myself, as I embrace this me with all those holes, I was still, I still did have lots of problems. I still did have lots of faults. But when I embraced it, it's okay to be broken, but still, I can do all those things. I can achieve those things. It's possible. Maybe I'm broken, but it's okay. But that doesn't mean that I don't deserve the kind of life that I want to live. So this repetition, this conversation that I had with me, with myself, that actually led me to unlock the key to mastering myself.
Beautiful, Sergio.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at this. Is there one size fits all formula into people breaking false beliefs in their existence? Because I believe that maybe there is a certain formula that people should, emulate of breaking false belief. What could you say in that regards, in terms of people breaking those beliefs?
So can you just elaborate that question once more?
Because I'm looking at, you mentioned things such as you had certain beliefs based on your experiences.
Yes, indeed.
So looking at people in general, is it a specific formula that we can all use to break false beliefs that we actually captured from our negative experiences? Is there a specific formula?
Yeah, definitely. Just yes, of course. Specific formula, I think almost everybody uses the same formula. Just like for example, it all comes from this understanding that I too deserve to lead the kind of life that all other people lead. So it comes from this conscious understanding. So acknowledgement is the first thing. Acknowledge that you're not deemed not to be worthy of living such a life. Acknowledge that you are deserved to be happy, to be healthy, to lead the life that you have always dreamed of. You deserve that. Acknowledge that. So once you acknowledge it, then what you need to do is see, our belief, the self-confidence, the kind of self-image that we hold to ourselves all come from the kind of learnings, the kind of program that we have. So if we surround with the people who are, who often talk negative things about ourselves, then what you're going to do is, what you're going to get is the same negative stuff. So if you can get away from those negative self-talk, if you can get away from those people who criticize you, who give no damn about you, then I say, just get away from those. Now, when I say get away from those people, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to, move to another city. It means just simply, you don't need to listen to those words. You don't need to listen to them. You don't need to, follow their words. You can follow your own path. You know, there are thousands of people who you can follow, who you can see as an examples, who you can see as a role model. Follow them. There are thousands of people out there in, in YouTube. You can find, you can listen to them. You can, if you are if you really want to change, you can write to them, you can talk to them. There are thousands of communities available on internet, on Facebook and on social medias. So you can go and be a part of that community, who will take care of you, who sees your potential and who push you to see beyond those barriers, those shell that you are trapped inside. So find such a community, or get away from the negative things that actually pulls you back from life. Now when I say negative things, I don't mean that life is tough. There might be things that are difficult. I don't mean to get away from all the problems. It's not possible. But if some people criticize you continuously, and that is really, if that makes you vulnerable, if that makes you stressed out, stressful, then get away from that person. Keep away from that person. Don't listen to him. If you can learn anything from it, learn it. Then move away from that. And then what you can do is, once you get away from those negative environment, you can create the kind of environment that you want by finding the right place, that right environment, the right habitat, and then feeding the right minerals to for your mind, for your for your body, and for your spirit, for your spiritual self. Like it could be reading something, waking up early in the morning, going for or taking a shower in the morning, or taking a walk in the morning. So there are many things that you can do that can improve your personal life. So exercise is one of the things. What I did, especially to break the the belief, my belief was, what I did was, I actually I used to repeat positive affirmations. Like I used to say, I am good enough, I am beautiful, I am worthy enough to be noticed. I used to say this. Actually, I have a book of self affirmations for all my negative self talk.
Yeah, I hear you perfectly, Sachin. And my main concern here is that I have asked for, is there a singular formula? But then I'm getting here from you that yes, there is a singular formula for everyone. But now you will get some people say, see here, what works for you might not work for me. Then what works for me might not work for you, you see. So in that regards, then, what is the best way to deal or find our unique things that makes us realize who we are within our uniqueness as people,
Yeah, so definitely there is a way that is actually, if you want to do that, the best thing you can do is to start to listen to yourself and have a mindfulness time. It's that's one thing that you can do, because I think that's one of the best way to find out the uniqueness within you, because almost everyone is different. I am different, you are different, but almost the way we are conditioned, the way human beings are conditioned, are almost the same, because the social structure is the same. But maybe there is a, you have a different path, you have a different purpose, you have a different lifestyle, you have a different vision for yourself. Now this can be found out by listening to yourself, by having this nice conversation with yourself, just like as if you're a child. Have a conversation, and when I say have a conversation, I do not mean just keep talking to yourself, but I don't mean to keep talking, but also I mean to listen to yourself, listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to your emotions. So That's if you can, I think having a mindfulness time in the morning for 30 minutes or in the evening for 30 minutes will really change your personal life. At first it might be difficult because you might find it quite difficult to shut your mind up, because your mind keep talking to you, what the thing, oh shit, you're doing here, because you're not like this. So your mind keep talking to you, keep talking all the nonsense. But I think if you can make this as a ritual, then probably the that listening to yourself will eventually give back to you your true uniqueness. It will reveal to you your true uniqueness. So it comes from that listening.
Yeah. So in other words, you're trying to tell me that each and every person has their own unique formula that they need to connect to within themselves, that works very well with them. Just remembering something very important, that we are most fully ourselves when you commit to something or someone other than ourselves. I'm going to give you an example. A child, when a child is busy playing and is fully concentrated on that toy, playing around, and the moment you enter, you see he gets a shock, like his eyes open so wide, because he has not been there. He has been fully, committed to transcended to a different world other than the world that he is in. So that is how we need to connect to ourselves. And as you say, as a child, talk to ourselves as how children do, because I think children are more closer to themselves to fully connect with whom they are. I mean, I'm really excited to hear from this. I don't know if you want to add something on that.
Yeah, definitely, because there is always a child within us. There is always a child within us who is stubborn, who doesn't listen, who talks too much. But I think if you start to calm down instead of just retreating away from the child, and then slowly begin to listen to him and have a nice talk between you, instead of just arguing, having this argument every time. If you just start to listen to yourself and then have this exchange of conversation in a more friendly manner, seeing all the good sides and bad sides and the negatives and positives, and appreciating both sides, just seeing all the strengths and weaknesses, I think you start to see that's the magic formula to do that, if you want, in one way.
Exactly. Um, you know, uh, and I find this as if like you talking about a child that sometimes don't listen, sometimes don't do this. I find out that we have to allow ourselves, in as much as we are adults now, but we have to allow ourselves to be teachable in spirit, uh, and learn as a child and keep that childlike spirit inside of us open to the world of possibilities and learning. That is how also um, we start to believe in ourselves, because also other people will be believing in us, in that sense, yeah. I don't know if something it comes across your mind as I say these words.
Yeah, exactly. So the same thing that I actually talked about. So so I just want to say is that believing yourself, your brain is actually a believing brain. you
Mhm.
know
How is it?
uh
How is that?
ha,
Can you
ha,
explain that?
yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely, I'll do that. So um So when your brain, if it sees something, if it, actually it's designed to believe in certain things, it's designed in that way. So what happens is, when you see something is not working out, if you see something that's not, that's not in alignment with you, or when you see something that's not really, it's not, when you see that it's not possible and you try again but you fail it, what your brain does is, your brain believes that it's not possible. So in neurological terms, your brain creates a neurological map which actually tells you, or which actually reminds you when you are going to do it, oh my god, no, this is not possible, because I have done it, I have tried many times, and this is not possible, I'm not going to do that. And this is a self-talk that I had within me when I was, after I had the experience in my third standard. Every time I would stand in front of audience, my brain would tell me, it would go through the same experience that I had when I was in third standard, and the same neurological wiring would fire, and that in turn put me in a very stressful mood, and I would escape from that. So your brain is a believing brain. When it sees something not possible, it believes it's not possible, and it does anything. It does whatever it can to prevent you from doing that, because doing that means again humiliation. For me, going to that stage, singing again, is a humiliation. That's what my brain believed. So if you can teach brain otherwise, that means, if you can have a different experience, the same scenario but a different experience, this time the difference is different, the experience is different, it's something positive, then your brain believes that too. Now your brain is learning. Now you have both experiences. Now you have a negative one and a positive one. Now your brain is consciously asking, what's this? So now your brain is consciously now looking at those two experiences, now thinking and reflecting and analyzing and making a conclusion. Yes. So if you try, it's possible. Now your brain begins to believe in that possibility.
Yeah.
Because you have a different experience. So, so what I suggest is, if you think that you have failed at something, or if you have tried something and it's not working out, maybe the way you are doing it is not the right way. Or otherwise, check if there are any people who have done it. And if there are any people who have done it, go ask them how they done it, or look how they have done it, and use that method. Otherwise, change the way you do it. And I think if you practice, if you're passionate about that course, and if you practice it, definitely you're going to do it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sachin. Before we even break the time, but just to shorten up things now, I think it is important to, to build that positive belief, to work on small steps, tangible steps that will build the self-esteem within us. And as we build this self-estimate within us, we start to believe in ourselves, and it is important that we don't compete, because another thing that makes us give up easily is that we start to compete with our peers and our friends. And most of us, it's not like we are gonna, succeed at the same time, be rich, or all of us, or whatsoever. But we all have our different timings,
Yeah, definitely. So I was thinking about that, because life is not about a competition. It's about sharing. It's about connecting. It's about loving. It's not about competition, because we cannot compete each other.
And the scary part is that now we are losing the human element inside of us, because you are busy competing over materialistic things that you want to achieve, and the true nature of who we are is slowly dying. So the human face is really dying, because now we want to be seen as big people, the big hits, you know, and everything, we're forgetting to aim slow with whatever that we have and make the most of it, you see. So, and that alone can also boost our self-esteem. Sachin, I'd like to thank you so much for this interesting topic that we discussed today. And I hope our viewers at home are getting the important and the gist of these episodes that we are having. And I would love our viewers to kindly subscribe on our YouTube channel for more episodes in future. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
definitely. I'm looking forward to it. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being in such a patient audience